Winter's Dice. Good evening, guys. How's it going? I'm back from outer space. I just walked in, found it. Hi, welcome to this Talkie Tuesday live stream. Hi, Eternal Crusader, Jackus Wood, Olive Cards, and Hans Gruber. Hans Gruber. What a character. I'm back. And this evening, we're going to talk about all the leaks, probably. Normally, we talk about some Warhammer at some point during a live stream. But, oi oi, oi oi. But today we're going to try and actually talk about some of the leaks because there has been leaks. It's been like a sea. Leaks make me sad. Scalpers also. £500. £500 for a Saturnine box. Horus Heresy. Number 3. That makes it just... Can I just start off by saying... And then, guys, we'll get to the chat in a minute. Chat, calm down. The myth gives me... No, yes, look. First, we'll talk about... This could be a clip. So, we'll see if we can... Horus Heresy Next Edition is coming along. And I've been asked, what are my thoughts on it? So, let's get them down. Listen, I've been doing this hobby for a very long time. 40 years now. I've been doing the hobby business, playing all sorts of different war games from other systems as well. And of all the war game systems I played, I've never found a perfect one. There's always something that could be added. Always, people have preferences as well. 2nd edition, 40k, 8th edition, 40k. People have preferences. Some people prefer left, some people prefer right, some people prefer penguins, some people prefer armadillos. You can't please all the people all the time, but there's many different war game systems, and some of them become very close to perfection. Blood Bowl they haven't touched for a very long time. It's a solid game, but of all the war games that I've played, simulated warfare with dice, telling story on the battlefield, Horus Heresy 2nd edition is the best I've played in 40 years. When it sings... It really sings. It really feels like you're telling a story. Now, I know it's a bit complicated to get to because there's so many little things. And it seems like those little things get in the way. It seems like there's so much to learn. But really those little things that only turn up once every 3 games, those are the cherries on the cake. Those are the spice. Instead of having a plain dinner with no salt and pepper and cumin and garlics and cloves, whatever. Instead of having just a plain dinner... without all the little bits that you stick on top, the razzle-dazzle that makes it sing. It's just a plain dinner. And all those little bits that they stick in there, they make Horus Heresy sing. The fact that there's rules, for example, just for Sol... who's he called? Oh, I've forgotten his name now, but the first loyalist, Emperor's Children, my name goes blank. Damn it. But you know the guy, Isfan3. Chat, help me out. There's rules for that guy. If he kills Lucius in a challenge, you get Saul Tarvitz. Thank you. If Saul Tarvitz kills Lucius in a challenge, you get 2 extra victory points. How often is that going to come up? Hardly ever. But the fact that that rule is in there is just a perfect example of all these extra little bits that they put in there, which makes it sing, which adds the spice. And the war game, it's the best version of a war game I've played. Sure, there could be some improvements. Everyone thinks something could be improved. Rights of war for destroyer companies, for example. A right of war for a breacher company, for example. The deep strike rule at the moment can be a bit jank, can be a bit overwhelming because you can string out all over the place. Aircraft as well with the interceptor reaction are having a rough time right now. There's a couple of bits that they could improve, I think. But I'm terrified that they'll change it, that they'll 8th edition it, that they'll try and simplify it too much. Because quite frankly, Horus Heresy is now a victim of its own success. The second most popular gaming system that Games Workshop now sell is Horus Heresy. Not Old World, not AOS. It goes 40k by a long margin, and then Horus Heresy. Why? Well, it turns out that people like Space Marines and Terminators and Land Raiders, and they found another way to sell everyone, again, their Terminators and their Land Raiders and their Dreadnoughts, and it turns out to be a hugely popular gaming system. And you know what Games Workshop think? Games Workshop think, hey, look, We're making lots of money on that system. How can we make more money on that system? Let's release another edition. And they release another edition, and then loads of people come into the thing. But what you end up doing sometimes is sacrificing the long-term health of a war game because they didn't touch the rules. They didn't touch the points value for second edition for 3 years. It's the same points. It's the same rules. You could start a project a year ago, finish a project now, and it hasn't changed, unlike the balanced data slates and all the things that happened in 40k. That long, slow burn means it healthily has grown and grown and grown and grown and grown in popularity. And the fact that the rule system is, in my opinion, the best war game I've ever played. And now are they going to sacrifice that long-term gain for a short-term bump in their sales? Because that's what they do always with 40k, it would seem, and I'm very worried. I hope third edition is just a tweak of the rules, just an improvement of the rules, just to look at a few things here or there that they can just touch up a little bit. I hope they are not trying to redesign the wheel, because the rule set on which it is based is the same rule set that goes all the way back to third edition. It's the house, it's the cards on which the house is built. It is the foundation on which Games Workshop grew for all these years. The Heresy first edition was 7th edition, and 7th edition was 6th, was 5th, was 4th. And Heresy 2.0 was just an evolution of that rule set on which they grew their entire business. And I hope third edition is just a tweak, not reinventing the wheel, because they're a difficult company to trust. Having said that, everyone's seen the Saturnine leaks and the Saturnine stuff now. The box set looks awesome. I'm down to clown with some Saturnine Terminators and Saturnine stuff. The box, I hear that there's 3 or 6 Terminators. What's that all about? This is Heresy. You have units of 10 Terminators. You have units of 20 guys in. It's bigger. It's more. It's more is better. And I like the rules. Where I like list building and figuring out 5 points here or 5 points there. I like the right of war and the way you pile up that's gone from 40k. I like all those aspects of it, and the core rules and the core missions are sound and solid. And now third edition looks like third edition's coming, and we'll see. But what do you think? Write in the comment section below. And what are your thoughts on the new Saturnine box set? What are your thoughts on the new edition? And chat, I think I can cut that. That might actually be a thing. You saw it here live. Let's write down the time code for that one. 9:56 seconds. Go back, refresh. So, I mean, sometimes I go back and actually have a look at these things, but sometimes I think that would make a really good thing, and I never go back and have a look. But that one is something that I've been wanting to get off my chest. Craven AMG, thank you for your $5 donation. I appreciate you. Just Craig, 25 months a member. In an age that 40k is focused on competitive, I love the freedom and the narrative Horus Heresy brings. Preach, brother. I'm nervous, but hope changes make a great game better. Preach. And not Benwig has gifted 5 SEO memberships. 5. Just, he comes in, slaps it down. Thank you very much. You're very generous. I appreciate you. Can we get a Winter's Dice in the chat for Not Benwig? A big Winter's Dice. And if you can't write all the Winter's Dice in the chat, just write WD or something. But then people will think WD-40. But Winter's Dice is the catchphrase right now. Let's go to the chat, see what we're talking about with the leaks and the heresy things, because we're WD-40. Not WD-40, not lube either. Winter's Dice. Chat. Come on now. Lube is, very useful in some circumstances. Lube up my baby. Oh, baby. Look, we're strapped in. Winter's Dice. We're strapped in. We're ready to go. I've got my water with my apple-flavoured electrolytes in. Let's go to the chat. Let's see what the chat is saying. Let's test the IQ level in the room, shall we? I nearly said womb. Let's find out what the water's like in the chat. I, for one, will be buying the Saturnine box for my just started up Emperor's Children. You're doing Emperor's Children, just Craig. Nice. That'd be Alpha Legion, Sons of Horus, Emperor's Children. Nice. Love the content, when let's keep it coming. Thank you, John Paul Watson. So what can and not confirm? I can't confirm or deny anything. See, I don't know anything about the 3rd edition stuff. Normally, the NDA says I can't even talk about the things, even if I know about the things, but I think it's so far ahead. I know nothing. It took me by surprise, so much by surprise. I did that short when I was on holiday, when people started messaging me saying, have you seen the rumors? Have you seen the 3rd edition stuff? Have you seen the Horus hearsay stuff that Games Workshop are doing? What do you think? And I had to put down my cocktail and then walk out onto the beach, because the room was just, naked ladies everywhere, cocaine lined up on the table, all that sort of stuff, as us high flyer international internet celebrities do. Had to put all that down, go onto the beach and go, this is really bursting my melon, you know what I mean? Clarky, thank you for your £5 British pounds donation. I appreciate you. Can we get some Winter's Dice in the chat for Clarky, please? Some Winter's Dice. No lube, no WD-40. Winter's Dice. We're not GG in today. We're Winter's Dicing. Can you have some ciders, please? As you don't confirm and deny stuff. I love a bit of cider, me. I will have some ciders. I got some G&T downstairs. Not WD and not lube, not Benwig. Stop saying lube. I'm cautious about Winter's Dice. Thank you, Andrew Williams. Andrew Williams gets Preparation H. What? Andrew Williams got the memo. He wrote the Winter's Dice. He's the only one paying attention right now. Thank you, Andrew. You can come to the front of the class. You're doing very well. +1 golden star on the wall for you. I'm cautious about the new Horus Heresy. Left 40k due to a lot of changes in every few months. But the box is brilliant. Finally Mark II in plastic. We need breaches in plastic. We do. We need destroyer companies as well. We do. We need rapier carriers, javelins. I mean, it looks like 3rd edition is going to come out before they've even released all the plastic stuff from 2nd edition. People who was thinking a delivery driver that leaked the box. It's probably getting shipped out to stores. No, it doesn't. No, that's a lie. It doesn't really. Their stuff doesn't really get shipped out to stores until the people on the content creator program, such as myself and about 20 others, get stuff. When we get stuff, that's when they start shipping it out to stores. So this box has come from somewhere else. Where it's come from, the warp perhaps. How lewd are the new Saturnine? They look good, don't they? They do look good. People are thinking it was a delivery. Yeah, I read that bit. I think it was a factory worker. It could be a factory worker. It could be someone on the packing belt who... Sorry, my pussy made a noise. He's down there. There's his head. There he is. Look there. He's I think he just farted, to be honest. But yeah, I think it's probably someone on the packing belt, something like that. When the machine breaks down, we break down. What Legion are you planning the Saturnine box models? Now, listen, the 2025 was supposed to be the year of the Night Lords for Heresy, but I kind of got sidetracked by the Emperor's Children, and I've got over 2,000 points of painted Emperor's Children now for 40k. Yay! And right next to me, here are some flawless blades that I assembled yesterday. I've got 6 of them coming. Stick them in a Land Raider. Don't think they're very good. Probably the weakest thing in the Codex. And then the only person who can attach to them is Lucius. So he's got a bit of base colours on him. So it was supposed to be the Night Lords. But now I'm going to keep doing Emperor's Children until that chonk is done. That's a good couple of months, plus some demons. And then I want to go back to Night Lords, because I've already got a chunk of Forge World stuff and Night Lords, and a chunk of bikes down there and vehicles down there ready to go for Night Lords, for Horus Heresy. So it feels like the thing that I should do with the Saturnine box is turn them into Night Lords, but they don't look or feel very Night Lordy. Night Lordy, you want speed, you want shadows, you want snipers, you want jump backs, you want, I mean, big chonky Terminators walking along with things. Doesn't feel very Night Lordy, does it? It does feel quite Salamandery. It does feel quite Iron Warrior. It feels quite legionary. But the Night Lords, Raven Guard, White Scars, Thousand Suns, these are very specific type legions. So the Night Lords project that I had lined up after the Emperor's Children project, which is going to take a couple of months to do, the Night Lords project might get shelved, and I might do Salamanders. Because I'm doing Isfan 5 right now. That's why I'm doing Night Lords. Raven Guard. I did Raven Guard and Iron Hands. They're Isfan 5. And then Night Lords, Salamanders, Alpha Legion. These are the ones that I need to do. So I might do Salamanders. What say you, chat? What should I do with the big chonky Salamander? No, not Salamander. Saturnine box. What would you do them as that? When you look at that box with that big chonky dreadnought and you think, I need 2 of these boxes now. I'm going to need more of those Terminators. And 40 Marines is starting at Heresy. You want 80. So we're going to get 2 of these boxes. What are you doing with the boxes? What early Crusade, any Legion works. Iron Hands or Iron Warriors. Already got Iron Hands. Could do Iron Warriors. I got some Torgedo Bays. Saturnine. Classic look. Yeah, Saturnine. Yeah. Evening Pickle Nick. You can have Night Lords with Emperor's Children, can you? You can. You can ally as many times as you want in Heresy at the moment. You can have a primary and an ally and an ally and an ally. There's nothing in the rules stopping you bringing along 4 allied slots. Go Salamanders. I've been waiting for Mark II to make Terran Vets for Dark Angels in Mark II. Crusade era armor. Because Mark I armor was Thunder Warrior armor. And it wasn't, what's the word? Atmosphere. You couldn't take it in space. You couldn't go outside of a spaceship with it. It wasn't full environmental sealed. It was the basics of the template upon which all the other armor was based. And then Mark II. That was the Crusade era armor, which most of them wore for most of the Heresy. Most of the Crusade. And then the other patterns of armor started coming out, well, only after about 100 years, actually. Some models are really made for some legions due to colors, so Saturnine would be great as Salamanders, as well as Mark II armor. Hello, Elder God Uzrak. Hello. Death Guard, I got Death Guard. So I don't really want to add. So the legions that I've got right now, I'm happy with how much I've got, except for the Emperor's Children. The Emperor's Children, I've got Fulgrim up there that I want to add to, and I want to add a bunch of jumpy guys, and I want to add this. I could stick them in Emperor's Children. I could add, because I've got a plan to add about 1,000 points to the Emperor's Children, but my Death Guard, all the other ones, solid. Might mix the Mark II into existing infantry units, give them a mix-up. You can do that in Heresy, that'll look really good. I mean, once we've got Mark II, Mark V, Mark II, Mark III, and Mark V, you could do squads completely mixed up. It would look really good in the Shattered Legion forces, so Salamanders, Raven Guard, Iron Hands, with all the armors mixed together, you know. Terminators are very Dark Angels. Yeah, I think any big legion, so the Iron Hands were a big legion, Dark Angels, big legion, Blood Angels, big legion, Ultramarines, big legion, any Imperial Fists, big legion, any of these big legion type legions, you could stick them in because they had access to all the stuff. The Ultramarines had all the stuff. Imperial Fists had all the stuff. And then there's the half of them are like that, and then half of them are very task orientated. Raven Guard, World Eaters, Death Guard, Alpha Legion, White Scars, Night Lords, Thousand Suns. Half of them are very, we do this thing with this particular knife on the Swiss Army knife. But Dark Angels, they would work really well. Really well. You need 600 points for Iron Hands. Just add 600 points of Mark II in my Iron Hands. They would work well in my Iron Hands. Add some more Terminators. See, the thing about my Iron Hands collection is I've got 30 Terminators. I've got 10 of the Gorgon, 10 of the Tartarus, 10 of the Cataphracti. So I'm hoping the Saturnine Terminators come in units of 10. And then I could put 10 Saturnine in there as well. And a couple of Saturnine Dreadnoughts in there as well. It would look good in the Iron Hands. And the thing about Iron Hands is it's really easy to paint. Your White Scars had Mark II until Siege of Terror, did they? Probably because they buggered off. They were there to go further, faster, harder, longer than all the other legions. They were like, you go. They were given their freedom to go beyond the mounds. And they did that. And they came back. The heresy was well underway. And they turned up and went, what's all this about? And then the Alpha Legion turned up and said, didn't you hear about the Space Wolves? They destroyed the Loyalists' Thousand Suns. Space Wolves bad. There's this whole thing, and Horus is the freedom, and they were all a bit kerfuffled at the start. Winter's Dice. Yeah. What are you guys doing with the? You're doing the live stream. No, live stream. Are you doing the salamanders, Brain? Are you doing the salamanders? What are you doing with the Saturnine? What are you doing? Are you excited for the Saturnine? What are you doing with the Saturnine? What do you think of that Saturnine leak? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Really curious to hear your thoughts. You mean they lied? I don't know what you're talking about, not Bedwick. But yeah, what do you think about the leaks? It's just like I said right at the start. I think the box is gorgeous. I want 2 of them minimum. I'm really terrified about the next edition. But what do you think? Would Iron Warriors work here? Iron Warriors would definitely work in that Saturnine stuff for sure. If I had a Saturnine, then it's Iron Warriors. Good excuse to get all the big guns and the tanks. Yeah, I think it leans into Iron Warriors, man, and get a bunch of plastic Sicarans, a bunch of plastic Predators. Iron Hands, give me all the Saturnine. League is interesting, just Strange Games Workshop hasn't posted confirming it yet. They did do a post, they did reply on X about something. Made a comedy comment saying, hey, the box isn't for under 3s, but it's for over. There was a comment they posted in reply. Newly started Imperial Fists, add to them. That is good, because like I say, the Imperial Fist Legion had access to everything. They even had access to stuff that other legions didn't have access to, like disintegrator weaponry, Solar Right Power Fist, things like that. They had access from the Terror's own arsenal, so they would definitely have as much Saturnine as they need. Yeah. So Imperial Fists they'd look good in yellow as well. Disintegration guns everywhere. Yeah. Winter's Dice. I've seen third-party Saturnine used as Death Guard. Yeah, I mean, the Death Guard would work. Anything big, anything chunky. You use your box for Iron. Iron Hands and Iron Warriors are coming up quite a bit. The Heresy website was updated with it. Nice. Fallen Dark Angels. Yes, any kind of Dark Angels. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, Wrath of Constantine. Today, Wrath of Constantine, Cat sent you your Winter's Dice. You were the first. Saturnine Brutus, brutally aesthetic, is as grim dark as it gets. Fits in all legions. Yeah, I mean, I love the aesthetic to the Saturnine stuff, because when Games Workshop do Space Marine aesthetics right, it doesn't really look that battlefield effective. Look at the box dread. It doesn't have any knees. It doesn't look very battlefield effective, but it looks so grimdark. Look at the Land Raider, chonky with all the edges. Tanks are supposed to have curved things to deflect, but there it is, a brick. But the Land Raider's iconic, perfect, one of the best looking models they've ever made. The Land Raiders are just beautiful. All versions of Land Raiders and Spartans and Proteuses, and they're just beautiful. And when Games Workshop do it, when they don't do it right, it kind of looks like something that you could kind of see on Earth in 100 years, 300 years or something like that. It looks kind of almost normalish, but when they do it right, it looks like it shouldn't work. And that Saturnine stuff with the really big shoulder pads, I like it. I like it. Dreadwing Relics, brutally. They have a website called The Horus Hearsay, where Games Workshop have officially addressed the leaked box. So technically you can talk about it. Nice. Yeah, I can't talk about any NDAs. I don't know anything other than what you guys know. Honestly, I know nothing We're talking about the leaks today, all the leaks that you know and all the leaks that I know. But I know nothing. I am in the dark here. Yeah, man. Well, you pestered me when I was on holiday, and so I told her, and so yeah. I love the look of the Saturnine. I love the look of the Saturnine Dread. I love the look of the Saturnine Dread. I love the look of those Saturnine Terminators. They look good. They look good. I sure love the Saturnine Dreadnought. Feels like they know everyone loves Terminators and copied it to make a Dread look. Look, of course they know everyone loves Terminators and Dreadnoughts. Think about how many different patterns of Dreadnoughts there are. Think about how many different patterns of Terminator plate there are across all the different legions and Chaos and Lord. Terminators and Dreadnoughts are the thing that games... They must sell more Terminators, flavors of Chaos and Legion and 40k, Brutalis and Deredeo and Ballistus and Redemptor and Box and Librarian, Bloody. They must sell so many versions of Dreadnoughts and Terminators. I reckon half of all the shizzle they drizzle is probably just Terminators and Dreadnoughts, man. And there we have another box set with new pattern of Terminators and Dreadnoughts. And I love them. 50-50 on getting the box. I'm worried about the new edition. Me too. I'm shitting my pants. Oh, I know that you talk about the rules and such. Yeah, definitely was not doing it. It was not me who leaked it. I haven't got it. So we can only talk about these leaks lest we get... you can talk about whatever leaks you want. There's other leaks. You can talk about all the other leaks. Like, there's a Thousand Suns Battle Force box coming out. That was all over Auspex Tactics. I mean, we know about the Death Guard one and the World Eaters one, but apparently there's a Thousand Suns one. That's all over the place. And games where I don't know when that gets officially announced. I'm definitely getting it, says the Dagda. You're going to need two, the Dagda. One ain't going to cut it. You're going to need two. Looks like maybe new weapons. Yeah. More disintegrator stuff. More, more Dark Age of technology. See, the Saturnine's pattern stuff is from the Sol system start of... See, you see what they've done here? Mark II, Crusade era. Saturnine stuff on the box, Crusade era. This is all the early stuff before all the scientists. Remember, there was none of this. Hey, you can't experiment back then. This is the start of the Crusade, and the Emperor himself was a scientist and a genealogist. Is that a word? A gene witch. He was a scientist more than he was anything else, really. The Emperor was just a mask that he wore. And because, as Malcador said in The End and the Death, the Emperor was a mask that he wore because that's what he needed to be in order to conquer a galaxy, but he would sooner take off that mask than wear it. He didn't ever intend to be worshipped as a god or wear it forever. Yeah, so this is the stuff that they had at the start, OG stuff. I hope they finally solve their supply issues. I preach, brother. The supply issues, they're building a new factory. They've been building it all year. It's supposed to go live in January 2025. And that is Factory 5. And one factory, bear in mind the other 4, one factory is going to increase their output by 33%, they say, by a third. So if it gets anywhere near that, by like 30-odd%, that should be the supply issues resolved. Should be. And they're probably going to need another one because I don't think that's enough. I hope they have the silly triple magazine bolters for that. Yes. Thousand Suns seems like potentially make Zangor's list very good. The Thousand Suns leaks. Yeah. Yes. Hey Winters, what do you think about no new edition but new starter box with Saturnine Terminators as a new entry in the Hereticus? Look, I would prefer that. That would be that would be my dream. So there's no new edition, but there's a new starter box with the rules in it and the whippy sticks and the templates in it. And here we have Heresy new starter box. And maybe they tweak the rules a little bit as well. But apparently it says somewhere on the box like 3rd edition. Apparently it says that. And there were a couple of people who know some stuff who were leaking some stuff in the Reddit about some of the rules, potential rules in 3rd edition as well. So all the rumor mills and all the source out there is saying it's a new edition, but I'd prefer it, much prefer it, if it was a new starter box with just a slimmed down main rules in it, and maybe with the errata, maybe with the rules updates posted straight. That would be best, because I think if I was Games Workshop, I would do the AOS and 40k on the quicker release cycle, and I would leave Old World and Heresy on the longer release cycle. I wouldn't have all my products dancing the same tune, following the same beat, having the same constant updates in this system and constant updates in that system, and this system changes every 3 years and this system changes every 3 years, and this, because there's reasons why people get into the hobby and reasons why people leave the hobby. And if you have different things going on in different systems, then you'll attract different customers and appeal to different audiences with the different systems and things. And that's the way I would do it. I wouldn't have everything going the same way, but it's Games Workshop, so they'll probably they love releasing, they love new editions. They get a new edition, and in that quarter they get a big bump. And then they don't worry about how bad it is, because in a year's time they release a new edition of AOS and they get a big bump. And then the next time they release a new edition of Old World and they get a big. And if the other editions are tailing off, because like 40k, if it's not as good as this edition as in previous editions, they don't care. They don't care, because next year there'll be a new edition and they'll get a big bump in that particular quarter, and they'll ride that wave all the way to hell. Give us Xenos rules, asking for a friend. See, in Heresy. See, the Warhammer 40k system isn't set at a specific time point. You can play Warhammer 40k during the first Tyrannic Wars, couple hundred years ago. You can play it during the Indomitus Crusade right now. You can play it on Cadia before it cracked. You can play 40k. 40k is set across this period of time. The Horus Heresy is set in 7 years. And what they should do, in my opinion, if they want to make millions and millions and millions of pounds, is set the Horus Heresy, is expand it out. So here's the Horus Heresy. And during the Horus Heresy, in the Horus Heresy rule set, you can play games during the Horus Heresy. You can also play games after the Horus Heresy during the Great Scouring and go back to Caliban or do the Iron Cage. And you can play games prior to the Horus Heresy. And they should release the Mega Arachnids from Murder. Imagine that box set coming out. And there's only 4 or 5 different versions of the models. And there's the it's before the Horus Heresy, but it's the Mega Arachnids from Murder. They would sell them by the bajillions. And then release Eldar in 30k and Orcs in 40k for the last gasp fight. For those things. They can put Xenos in that period of Horus Heresy as well. So before the time of the Horus Heresy, and probably during the time of the Horus Heresy, some of the Xenos stuff was happening as well. Now, the core would still be Legion on Legion with Solar Auxilia and Mechanicum and Custodes. But during the Horus Heresy and around the time of the Horus Heresy, there was Xenos stuff coming on as well. And if they... Look, all us Space Marine players, they sold us all our Terminators again and our Dreadnoughts again and our Land Raiders again, and they're making lots of money, and it's working, it's magic. Hey, they love this stuff. Let's do it all again. What about all the Orc players out there, or all the Eldar players out there, and Votan players out there? Like, hey, 10,000 years ago, you had slightly different stuff, and it looked like this, and you can buy all this stuff again. Imagine all the Orc players buying all their armies twice. It's a magic formula. I think it's probably just a matter of time before all the Xenos stuff comes out in Heresy. Probably not next edition or the edition after, but in 10 years' time, 15 years' time, someone will go, hang on a minute. Let's sell them all their stuff again. Hi, Servo Skull. I can't engineer whether they sound... the slur. Yeah, there's other Xenos races, So, the Rangdan genocide. 7 entire legions, 5 Primarchs fought during the third Rangdang War. And it's rumored that one of the lost Primarchs and his entire legion was wiped out during the Rangdang Crusades. Why can't we play that? That would be epic. Mind you, I'm also down with the idea that Dan Abnett or ADB should write an entire series set during the Unification Wars. Say we get a 10-book series of the Unification Wars coming out, and then we get, we've got a box set, Horus Heresy. Say we got a box set, Unification Wars, off the back of a 10-book series. And you get to play with Thunder Warriors, and you get to play with Techno Barbarian. It wouldn't be like 40k or Heresy much at all. But yeah, that would be epic. I want an army of techno barbaric nightmares taking on some Custodes across the Mad Max wasteland of old Earth. That would be epic. Give me that Warhammer 25k. Exactly. Why not? They sold us all our stuff again. Sell it all again. I think one of the authors said they didn't want to go that far back because it didn't feel Warhammer-y. I take that point. That if you go too far back, you kind of lose the Warhammer in the Warhammer. It kind of starts once you've got the legions, once you've got it. It starts with Valdor, Birth of the Imperium, that book. His Primarch book. Valdor's Primarch book, by the way, 10 out of 10. It's one of the top 3 books in that Primarch series. If you haven't read it, read it. 10 out of 10, would bang. Read that one, and Alpharius, and Kurz, Conrad Kurz one. 3 best books, outstanding. You can't really go back further than that, they say, because it's not really Warhammer-y anymore. But could you? I mean, if they wrote the book series, and particularly if you wrote the book series, The Unification of Terror, from the point of view of the bad guys, but make the bad guys good guys. Like there's some holdouts here or there where they would have had some city-states where things were still goodish. I mean, most of Terra screwed, but there were some places like High Brazil, and there were a few places where the emperor turned up and said, "Hey, yeah, we'll join you," rather than "we'll fight you." But there were some good places as well. The emperor turned up and he just smashed. So you could write it from that point of view, from the baddies who are really goodies and watching their world devolve around them with some twists and turns. I mean, ADB could make that thing, yo. And Chris Ray and Graham McNeil. Graham McNeil actually doing all the horror that he does. He would. I'd love to see a book series of the Unification Wars and then some models at the end of it. I'd love it. It's just put that straight in my veins. I'd buy Oshutan, his conversation with Valdor. Yeah, man, the Primarch of the Thunder Warriors. I just listened while I was on holiday, on the flight out, and then a bit on the beach, and then saved some for the flight back again. I just re-listened to The Outcast Dead. And The Outcast Dead in the Horus Heresy book series is the first time we ever meet Thunder Warriors face to face. And is it Babu Kal? He's just the lightning bearer, the Thunder Warrior that held aloft the Emperor's banner in the final unification of Terra. Yeah, Babu Kal. That is a good book. That's one of the best books in the Heresy, that one. It's one of those books that when you listen to it or read it the first time, you think, this is a good book, but it's probably not my favorite. And because there's other books that when you read or when you listen to are clearly the favorite. Like the original trilogy, clearly really good. And a couple of the Siege of Terror, a couple are really good. And then some throughout which are just outstanding, like Betrayer and No Fear. And then there's some others that are good. But when you listen to them the second time or read them the second time, Mechanicum is one of these. The Outcast Dead is one of these. The First Heretic is one of these. There's just so much more comes off the page. Dude, Thunder Warriors, man. And before The Outcast Dead as well, we knew of Thunder Warriors. We didn't know if we assumed they weren't as good as Space Marines. But in the lore, Thunder Warriors can kick the ass out of some Space Marines. Thunder Warriors were a blunt instrument. Thunder Warriors were one big hammer to crack the nut that was Terror. And Baba Dukal as well had 7 gold studs in his head in the Outcast Dead. 7. 700 years. That's how long, minimum, the unification of Terror took. That's a long time. Remember, before the Emperor went to the Selenar on Lunar, he got the Gene Witches of the Selenar. Them. What are they called? I think I got it right. Gene Witches, the Selenar on Lunar. Before he got that, he couldn't mass produce Space Marines in a serious fashion. He had a few hundred, had a few thousand over a few decades, managed to build them up in his labs on Terra. But he needed Luna and he needed the gene cults in order to turn those thousands into millions and mass produce the whole thing. So back during the Unification Wars, it took hundreds and hundreds. The Heresy took 7 years. Unification took a minimum of 700. That's amazing. Anyway, I do rant. That was, where are we? Fear to Tread. Fear to Tread. Not my favourite, but better the second time round. The poor old priest from The Last Church story. The Last Church is one of those books that the book is really good, but the audio book for The Last Church is better. I liked the book, the short story The Last Church, but it wasn't my favourite short story until I heard the audio version, and then I thought, this is really good. I heard they have sent to the US to beat the tariffs. So this is where the leak came in. See, so as I said, the leaks, this is good. Thank you for the Game Prince for that. That makes sense. The leaks. So typically, us people who get stuff tend to get it around the same time they ship it to the Games Workshop stores, around the same time that they ship it to the Element Game stores, because I've gone to Games Workshops before, and the person behind the counter has asked me whether I've got a thing yet or not, because they know something's coming, and it's coming in the truck next week or the week after. Hey, Winters, have you got that thing yet? And I'm like, I can't say. Or, but I can get them around or before that. That's when they ship them out. But that makes sense. Send them all across to America before the tariff things. There's some logic there. What about the Custodies? Not Belgium. I know what I'm talking about. Prince of Crows. Prince of Crows, fantastic short story. One of the best short stories. Iron Within, with the first time we see Dantiok, Barbarous Dantiok. Fantastic short story. There's one called Exterminatus, I think, which is the first time an type of Inquisition, pre-Inquisition. There's so many good short stories. So many. The Lightning Tower. The opening half of the Lightning Tower. The opening 4 or 5 pages where Dan Abnett just explains what the palace is and what it means before Rogal Dawn starts pulling it apart. It's poetry. I love Betrayer. Did a whole army because of that book. Yeah, Betrayer is probably one of the best books, or the best book in the Heresy series. You can read or listen to that again and again. It's so good. Betrayer is one of the best. Yes, I'm still laughing at the dice advert. Winter's Dice. The Last Church, great short story. What are your favourite short stories? No Fear has to be one of the best, surely. No Fear is better the second time around. It's one of the best books. Best books in the Heresy. For me, not including the original 4 or the Siege, because you've got to do the first 4, including the Flight of Eisenstein, and they are fantastic. And you've got to do the Siege, and there's some in there that are just good. which feel bad. The ones in the Siege that feel good, that you're like, oh, that one wasn't very good. The only reason why people say, oh, that one was very good, is because the good ones in the Siege are some of the best books in the whole series. Like Warhawk is fantastic, Saturnine, fantastic. The ADB one right before the end, I forget what that one's called, with Arcama Stract in the thing, and with it's just outstanding stuff. And of course, the End of the Death, which again doesn't feel great the first time round, but if you do it the second time, third time, there's so much death. But apart from them, Echoes of Eternity, thank you. Saturnine's amazing, thank you. I think the Solar War, the first one's amazing. But what are your favourite books in the Heresy? I'm going with, damn you, making me want to read them all again. Why not? You're in the hobby, not Benwing. Do them all again. Instead of read them all again, get them on Audible over the years, bit by bit by bit. And when you're up doing your painting on a Tuesday evening, whatever your painting day is, just listen to the whole Horus Heresy from the beginning to the very end in order on Audible. Painting material. It'll take you 5 years. What else are you going to do with it? You're a war gamer. Do it. Servo Skull has gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Servo Skull. You absolute legend. Coming in here, swinging that thing around again. You are a GG in the. I'm doing it now, says Not Benwick. You're a GG, dude. Yeah, Not Benwick. I made the. I'd never listened to them on Heresy. I've read the Horus Heresy through all of it twice, and I've done individual books a couple of times. And then when Horus Heresy 2.0 came out, I started listening to it on Audible. And that's and I'm going to do it all the way through on Audible, and I'm on like book 35 now or something, and then I'll probably listen to it all again. It's just, I mean, you're in the hobby, why not? But Servo Skull, thank you so much. Can we get a Winter's Dice in the chat for Servo Skull, please? No GGs, Wrath of Constantine, and no Jacques Woods from France. We're not doing GGs today. There is a new catchphrase doing the rounds for some reason. Someone dropped a video today, and it's Winter's Dice. That's what you say to Servo Skull. Thank you, the Eternal Crusader. Winter's Dice! Exclamation mark. Lost in the Name, but underrated. I recently bought Warlord Imperial Titanic. Yeah, Winter's Dice. Yeah, man. Winter's Dice. Now available. If you haven't seen the video because you're not a member, I put the video up for members first, so they have a good punt, because I've got a limited run. 100 packs of dice. When they're gone, they're gone. 20 dice in a pack. And if you want some, email winters40k@gmail.com. That's winters40k@gmail.com. In the title, put Winter's Dice and say, I want some of them dice. And then Cat, not the cat, the fat cat, not him, because he can't type, but Cat, my wife, she'll get back to you. And she will let you know if any are still available and how much. They only cost $1 million. Winter's Dice. Damn books convinced me that Ultramarines aren't so bad after all. Dude, No Fear is fantastic. It's just so good. And the red marked and it's so good. Read it all at once. Collected all the audio books. Rerun at some point. Doing the same with Dawn of Fire. Yeah. Greg Shimmerman has been a member for 33 months. You absolute legend. And he's ordered 2 sets of dice. You double legend, you. Thank you for your membership for all the months and things. You legend. Can we wear your beach hat instead of the Can you wear my beach hat instead of the flat cap tonight? I could, if she hadn't packed it away. The beach hat has been packed. I don't know where it is. You can message her and let her tell her to tell me to wear that next time. You know what? The shortish Sigismund origin. Yes, the Sigismund short story, gold. So Prince of Crows is gold. Sigismund short story is gold. Iron Within, Barbarous Antioch, that one's gold. Blood Games, the Custodes one, that's gold. Can you guys hear that outside? That the lawnmower. Coolest guy in the street racing that lawnmower up and down. I want a lawnmower now. Brain gone. Fear the Dice Nest. Hey, hi, hi friend. Yes, friendly neighborhood inquisitor. I'm fine. Everything's fine here. Nothing to see here. How are you? Short story. Right. What were we talking about, chat? What the 40k made it to the live? Chat, lock in. My brain's gone. The lawnmower went. What are we talking about? What did I put on the title? More leaks than the Titanic. We're talking about leaks, apparently. A lot of the Horus Heresy books are 2 for 1 on Audible right now. That's what Mark says. Start the Audible journey. I want a CGI trailer. I would like the Heresy 2.0 cinematic trailer. That was banging. Can we have some more cinematic trailers, please? I've watched that so many times. With the Titans walking. You know, you guys have seen the Horus Heresy 2.0 trailer, right? With Horus, and he slams the guy and he drags him thing. And it's got the Titans with the sun behind, the Titans walking out, and it looks like something out of Apocalypse Now. That one. That is amazing. Shall we shift the Dawn of Fire box set? Dawn of War remake incoming. They need to do Dawn of War 4, but not like Dawn of War 3. Make it like Dawn of War 2. My takeaway is that Saturnine Dreadnought looks amazing. Hate the Terminators. I like it both, man. I like them both. The Terminators don't look like they should be very battlefield effective. And as I said earlier, Warhammer 40k at its best makes models that look really cool but shouldn't really see this light of day on a battlefield. It's like, how does that work, really? And that's part of its charm. If it looked too... In space, there are churches in space with guns off the side and literally stained glass crystal flex windows. That's 40k. It looks like it shouldn't work and it shouldn't be there. And the Saturnine Terminators look a bit derpy, but I love them for it. They look, they look good. They look good. I prefer that to the Tartarus ones, because the Cataphractii ones, they're chonky, and the Tartarus ones almost look real. You know what I mean? They almost look like if I was designing a suit of powered Terminator armor. That looks like it could actually work because they can actually put their legs together and move a bit, whereas And then the Saturnine ones don't look like they could function very well. That's 40k. He's the Lord of Skulls guy, you know, the great big demon on tracks with an axe and a belly gun. Looks derpy as hell, but it screams 40k. That's 40k at its finest when they design models for their cool factor rather than their practicality. Psi Titans. Psi Titans, Sinister. One of the best, Ordo Sinister, one of the best short stories in the Horus Heresy. Ordo Sinister. Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? That short story with the Psi Titan in the web's way. Burning pariahs. He's loading pariahs like shells into a bolt gun. He's loading pariahs into the distortion cannons to suck out their pariah nexus and project it down the tunnel. And he's slowly running out while he's plugged into the Psi Titan, slowly running out of pariahs as ammunition to fire at demons. Ordo Sinister. I think it might just be called Sinister. One of the best books in the Horus Heresy. That's one of the few short stories that I finished, went back to the beginning and read again. There's only been about 3 or 4 of them where I stopped and just had to... It was... Damn, it's so good. So good. Have you seen the Dawn of War box set leak Winters? No, I haven't. I haven't seen the Dawn of War box set leak. There's a Dawn of War box set leak? There's more leaks than the Titanic. We're getting Thousand Suns, apparently. We're getting... what about the Games Workshop leak their own stuff? There's a new Chaos Knight and a new Questorus Knight that they leaked, and we have no idea when that's coming out. Dawn of Fire leak. I'm writing down Dawn of War leak. Guess what? I'm going to be YouTubing in a minute. If there's any of that shizzle on YouTube. Dawn of War leak. Master of Mankind, a great book. Master of Mankind, absolutely fantastic. I love that book. Love the opening to that book. The Boy Who Would Be King. Emperor of Mankind, did we mention that already? No, we just mentioned Emperor of Mankind, Master of Mankind. Fantastic. Short story. Malkador. First Lord of the Imperium, that one, where he's talking to the astropath on her deathbed. Is it called Malkador, First Lord of the Imperium? I think it's Audible only. Amazing short story. Amazing. They came from 4chan and for weeks ago. Yeah, 4chan. Yeah. Since you brought them up, what are the other short stories you repeat? What are the other ones that I went back immediately? So yeah, Iron Within, the one where Barbarous Antioch wins and takes out a whole Crusade fleet. Well, steals it. That one, read again. Prince of Crows, because it's quite long, but there's so much depth in it, because it's basically the end of the Night Lord's Legion. I remember reading that, going back and reading it again. One, because it's got a lot of Sevatar in it, but two, it had a lot of depth in it. But yeah, Sinister, I went through twice, like bam, bam. Off the top of my brain, the Lightning Tower, I read that, and I had to go back and reread the beginning bit where it just talks about the palace. The palace. The Imperial Palace was such a construct, such a thing, a continent-sized thing, where the best artisans, the best architects, the best designers from the entire world went, where money was no object and poured all their artistry and all their craft into it, that anyone from any part of the galaxy, should they see it, would know that this is the palace. Not a palace, the palace, where the Emperor of mankind, master of the galaxy, resides. Just the opening bit of that, it's just Did we talk Heresy Warhams already? Yes, we did, but we can talk about more stuff. Red Richmond, you're late. Did you miss anything? No, nothing at all of importance has been mentioned at any point. DM'd you the image, Winters. Check the Discord. Thank you, the Eternal Crusader. I will check the Discord. A ludicrous place to build a palace. Indeed, that was kind of the point. Well, also in The End and the Death, one of the reasons why the palace was there was because of the Astronomicon, because of that place. He and Bab Bastion, he had to build it there because of the psycho-reactive rock, which runs like blood veins through the crystalline lattice inside the Astronomicon. Inside the Hollow Mountain, where Euphrates goes at the end, Malkador mentions it. This is why that the palace was there, because that was there. So that's why he had to build it there. And also Bab Bastion was there. And there's parts of the palace as well, like the Nabis Nobilite, the City of Silence. That pre-existed the palace. There was a number of structures there that pre-existed the palace, because probably it's a very safe place to be. It was the Himalayas. It's safe, it's big. There were a number of pre-existing structures, so you thought, right, all of those, they need to. The ultimate wall is a kilometer high. Once you get up and up and up a kilometer high, the ultimate wall. The first line in The End of the Death, they're crucifying titans along the ultimate wall. Just the sense of scale. I read that, I was like, I stopped and read it again. They're crucifying titans along the ultimate wall. Crucifying titans on a wall that's a kilometer high. That image, I want to see that in a movie. The box is just the Honoured of the chapter sprue painted red. It might be one of those USA only releases like the Titus was. I don't know what we're talking about. Love the way the lines repeat in Valdor from differing percent. Yes, Valdor, First Lord of the Imperium. Very, very good Primarch book. 10 out of 10. Would bang. Highly recommend it. Just finished No Fear. I heard it was good, but it was really, really good. I know. No Fear is one of the best books in the Heresy. You read it again. Pick it up. See, because the Mark of Kauth starts halfway through. The actual war, there's half a book of build-up and then half a book of absolute destruction until there's nothing left, including the star going boom. The Viridia star just poisoned and the Ruinstorm kicked off. Read Read it. There's a couple of books in the Heresy that you get so much out of if you read them again. There's not many 40k books like that. There's a few, but not many. And the Heresy is just, yeah. It's like they knew what they were doing, and they knew they were writing bits of history. And one of the things that comes out of the Heresy, which I quite like as well, is sometimes you get different viewpoints of the same thing. And the different viewpoints of the same thing and the stories from the same thing wildly differ. You know, like there's different, in 40k, there's different versions of actually what happened then. Well, in the Heresy, there was different versions of actually what happened then as well, because the unreliable narrator thing, it's great. No Fear is the only time I like Ultra Breeds. No Fear is dope. Just listen to Alfarius again. It's so subtle. Alfarius, first Primarch. You got to read Alfarius. The first line in the Alfarius Primarch novel is, I am Alfarius. The last line in the Primarch novel is, I am Omegan. It starts off with, I am Alfarius and I am Omegan. It's just genius. In fact, it's even better than that, because the second line after I am Alfarius is, that is a lie. Genius. Space Wars and Thousand Suns viewpoint was good. It was, wasn't it? In fact, I realised who is Alfarius and Omegan in the other books. He lied. He lied. He lied. He was the hidden sword. The blade you do not see coming. How are you getting on with your Emperor's Children, Winters? Got Fulgrim or Lucius yet? Lucius is base coated with some colours on him. To go with the flawless blades, I need to paint 6 of them and stick him in the little Chaos Land Raider, which is down there and not assembled yet. Tomorrow there is a battle report coming out with the Emperor's Children again. 4,000 points. Me versus Sultan. And he turned up with, he said he wanted to bring White Scars with Imperial allies and a few baby knights. I'm like, that's a really mixed force. 4,000 points. I like it. What could I do at 4,000 points? And what I could do at 4,000 points is bring 2,000 points of my Death Guard, the end of all things, and 2,000 points of my Emperor's Children, the Echoes of Ecstasy, and have them fight side by side on a battlefield in the 41st millennium for the first time. I was so excited. So that's what we did. And that's coming out tomorrow. And yeah. Extra Winters SEO Battle Report every single Winters Wednesday for Tier 3 channel members and above, because you guys are awesome and keep the lights on. Thank you. That's tomorrow. So yeah, I'm up to about 2,500 points of painting Emperor's Children right about now. I've got to get them done. I've got another Lord Exaltant to do. Then I'll get on to, and then some Rhinos, and I'm going to do Fulgrim last. But make sure that I'm very, very comfortable with the scheme. I am very, very comfortable with the scheme by now, with the Emperor's Children scheme. But really comfortable with the Emperor's Children scheme before I do Fulgrim, because I don't want to screw him up, you know. I don't want to screw him up. I want to make him look pretty. And then on my shelf, I'll have Mortarion, Angron, and Fulgrim side by side. 3 Demon Primarchs side by side on my shelf, which will look epic. Just above the baby Primarchs from the Horus Heresy, which are down on the shelf below. But yeah, Fulgrim, Mortarion, and Angron. And clearly, Mortarion's the best Primarch. No. Is he? I like Angron's the best Primarch. Angron's the best. He's Angron. He's just an unstoppable supernova. It's just Angron. Who's your favourite Demon Primarch? Mine's got to be Angron. He's the scariest melee thing in 40k, and he should be. His model he's just a beast. I love him. Hey Winters, what knight would you include in Emperor's Children? Still working on an army doing demons now. I'll probably do the Knight Rampager version. I forget what it's called. Emperor's Children can advance and charge. The one with the 2 close combat weapons, Imperial Knight, has a rule which is once per battle they can advance and charge. So that works. That's what I would probably do. But having said that, Emperor's Children have a severe lack of have long-range guns and anti-tank guns at range. So you probably want to do a better choice would be to bring a Knight Desecrator. So then you've got some serious anti-tank at range and give him a fist. That one. Magnus, pew pew, mine bullets. What about Magnus? Magnus is not the best Primarch. Have you seen the horns? What's with the horns? I'll have the 3 demon Primarchs on the shelf, but no Magnus and no capes. No Magnus. Do you think the new Chaos Knights Codex will have God-specific rules? Ooh. Ooh. I hadn't even thought about that at all. So, I don't think it will. My instinct is saying no, because there's not very many Chaos Knight sprues. So what could they... I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't add demons to it, because that seems to be the thing right now, that they're adding demons to the Chaos stuff. It feels like the Chaos Space Marine Codex needs to have demons in it as well, right? Do you... Sanguinius defeating Angron made me sad. Yeah, but the speech Sanguinius gives on the wall before he takes on Angron is amazing. He floats up for them, and they're on the in front of the, and he's like, and the first thing he says is, "I don't want to be here," and neither do you. And if you want to go, you can go, but I'm gonna stay here. This is the last wall in front of the last bastion. And all hell is coming down. And I don't want to be here. But I will stand here. And I will fight for truth, justice, and the imperial way. Fantastic monologue that he gives. It just... Yeah. Siggy and Khan felt a bit meh. What? Okay... This is books. This is how narrative works. Some people don't like. Some people this, some people that. And the fact that you thought that the Siggy Khan for MCJ, the fact that you thought it was a bit meh, is fine. That's fine for you. But I find that I cried, a few tears. Like, you're more broken than me. I was like, damn it, that got me. Oh, it was so good. So good. But I'm a crier, me. I'll cry. I'll stub my toe. I'll cry. Okay? Someone puts a green Skittle in front of me. I'll cry. All the other Skittles are fine. But those green ones, they can frick off. So, yeah. If I see a penguin getting eaten by an orca on a YouTube clip or a wildlife documentary, I'll cry. Because, penguins are lovely. I'll cry. In 4th, 5th edition, my friend played a Plague Marine, Noise Marine army. Normal Marines played it as Emperor's Children Death Guard. He called it his nasty STD army. That sounds like an absolute G. Siggy beats Khan. Easy. Every time. Siggy beats everyone every time. The one thing about all the characters in the Horus Heresy lose a fight at some point except Sigismund. Sigismund gets battered a bit by Fulgrim, but he's a demon thing. But he keeps going. He's not out of the fight. But yeah, he doesn't lose. Loken loses at some point. Garrow loses at some point. Gets his leg blown off at Isfan Extremis. Khan lose. Lucius loses a couple of times. Sharakin, does he lose? I don't think Sharakin counts as a main character. I don't think he loses. But yeah, Sigismund doesn't lose. And he don't lose in the rules either. Yeah. Yes. Leaks, chat. Leaks everywhere. Have you seen the Thousand Suns leaks on All Specs Tactics? There's another big box coming out. And rules leaked. There's more leaks than the Titanic. Lucius loses so much. It's a cornerstone of his lore. I love how Siggy just wanders on terror during... Sigismund's story. There are a couple of characters that get a chance to shine during the Siege of Terror, and I'm sure glad that they did, and Sigismund is one of them. His story arc is just fantastic, with Euphrates Keeler as well. That's a fantastic story arc. Yeah. Have there been more leaks, chat? What other leaks have we seen? So we've talked about Saturnine. And I think we all agree that it's fantastic. And I think we all agree that 3rd edition Heresy is terrible. I think we can all agree that that's a terrible idea. Don't touch it. How can you... And if you do touch it, just touch it a little bit. Just touch it a little bit. Don't eat the whole cake. Just lick the cream off the top and leave the cake as is. And then when other people come in and they see a cake without cream, they're like, oh, that's fine. I can eat that cake because it's still a whole cake. They didn't know that there was any cream on it. And they eat the cake and they didn't know that you licked and your saliva's all over it and you took all the cream off of it. You could do that with Heresy. But don't eat the cake. Don't change the cake. Leave it a lovely cake. Don't suddenly turn it into a carrot cake. Heresy might go from a nice butter walnut cake with cream on top. Not that there'll be any cream after I lick it, but a nice butter walnut cake with cream on top to a carrot cake. And carrots and cake should never be put side by side or together. Fix and existing yes, what the 40k said, very good point. Carrot cake is good though. It's not Eternal Crusader. Carrot cake is not good. Vegetables in cake. You might as well put some cauliflower in a cake. What heresy is this? You clearly are Alpharius. Mental note, never eat cake at Winter's house. You can look, the cake at my house comes without cream, okay? I definitely didn't lick it off, all the cream, before I served it to you. Because the cream is the best part, right? Lemon drizzle for the win. No, lemon is fruit. Fruit and vegetables should be nowhere near cake. We've talked about this before, chat. You can put nuts in cake. Okay, you can put coffee in cake. You can put cream in cake. You can put chocolate in cake. You can put jam in cake. You can put all sorts of stuff in cake. So long as the jam isn't real fruit jam, just some sort of weird genetically engineered monstrosity that has never actually seen a fruit, that stuff is good. But fruit and vegetables, nowhere near cake. Strawberries, no. Raspberries, no. Cake, yes. Strawberries and raspberries, not on the cake. You know, chocolate gateaus. I don't know if Americans know what a proper Black Forest pudding is, but it's all good except for the forest part. You know, take that out of there. Apple pie filling, no. Apple pie, again. Who really likes apple pie? If I gave you a nice proper chocolate cake with chocolate chips in it, maybe some cookie dough, and an apple goddamn pie with crusty things that... No, no to the apple pie. Fruit is the devil's lettuce, I'm telling you. You're a monster. You're a monster. Cherries working cake, no. Cheesecake, no. All these things, no. I mean, I'm not saying, by the way, that if you gave me a cheesecake, I wouldn't eat it. Or an apple pie, I wouldn't eat it. Of course I'd eat it. It's a pie, I'm going to eat it. I'll eat it. But I won't eat all of it. I'd eat a bit. And then look at you like that. Like, I've eaten some of your cake. But why has it got cheese in it? Why couldn't have you served me a nice coffee, cinnamon walnut cake? You know what I mean? I may have to end my membership. I thought you were better than this. Fantastic. Winters out here with the taste. No, listen. It's just, you know, I speak the truth. If anyone in chat, anyone, hands up in the room, if someone served you a really nice apple pie or a really nice chocolate eclair cookie dough cake thing, homemade, with all the cream licked off. If someone served you one or the other, which one are you wolfing down first? You're going for the chocolate cream cookie dough cake every day of the week. Eternal Crusader, what do you mean apple pie? You're not doing the apple pie. Does the apple pie have custard? No, you see. This is see apple pie. You need to add custard to. This is why apple pie is not a good dessert. Apple pie on its own, dry, miserable, horrible thing. You need to add cream to it. You need to add ice cream to it. You need to put custard on it. You need to add condiments to your cake to make your thing. But the chocolate donut thing, that you can just eat. You don't have to add custard or anything to that. You don't have to eat that. This is how the heresy started. I know, right? I'm taking the cake, but there's no fruit. We don't need fruit, okay? We used to have all the fruit when we didn't have Sainsbury's, but now we have Sainsbury's, so we don't have to eat the fruit. Apple crumble over apple pie. Apple pie, you can't eat apple pie on the own, Service Skull. That's the thing. You're not going to have a dry old apple pie, are you? Cake is better than pie, says Michael Matkins. He knows what I'm talking about. Cake versus pie. Cake wins. Screw your pie. Real question. What about cream pies? Cream pies? Yeah. Cream pies, you don't have to put custard on. A cream pie is a cream pie. It's got cream in it. Cream is good. We like cream. Dry. Maybe you Brits cook it. Lol. Yeah, I mean, well, it is. Apple pie is dry. It's the pastry. It's dry. You can't just serve up naked apple pie. A Victoria sponge I could put in front of you naked, and you could eat it like, it's not touching the sides. You know what I mean? Victoria sponge any day for me. Raging Horn, me and you are vibrating at the same frequency like right now. I like you. Sit at the front. Come to the front of the class. It's a family show, right? Normally, yes, but sometimes I get carried away, start drinking, start swearing, and before we know it, I say lots of inappropriate things. Mainly, I blame the chat. I've got to blame someone. To be fair, I would eat pie as well, but if I had a choice, cake wins. That's what I'm saying. Cake wins. Cinnamon apple pie with ice cream defeats all candidates. See, look, the Eternal Crusader. Ice cream you've put on it. It's not just a cinnamon apple pie. It's cinnamon apple pie with ice cream. You don't serve a Bakewell tart and put ice cream on the Bakewell tart. You eat the Bakewell tart. You don't need this. This is why pie is inferior. Pie is inferior to cake. Cherry pie. No. Bowl of chocolate mousse and a glass of whiskey. Wrath of Constantine. Or Eldar. Often when you're drunk, you blame the Eldar. Which is as I should. I mean, it's normally their fault anyway. I think it boils down to dairy and sugar. Hello, friends. Hello, Tiki Yiki. What is the timey-wimey? Is a what? Killer Kriesman has been a member for 14 months. I am the cake, he says. Thank you for your 14 months. You absolute legend. I've met you. You're not that much of a cake. You're not a beefcake. Love that last game on Sunday. Yeah, man. I had Titans 2 in a row. I didn't even plan it that way. We had the Titan in 40k and we had the Titan in Heresy. I didn't even plan it that way. And no one's commented in the comment section yet about the Titan in Heresy. But I realised this after I rewatched it, after I posted it, which is something that I do sometimes, that destroyer weapons have night fighting. Or Titans have night fighting. So you can't shroud the saves from destroyer weapons. And I know dude was shrouding, but I don't know if he made any shrouding saves. So he might have shrouded and it might not have helped anyway. But you can't shroud Titans because they have night vision. Makes perfect sense. Killer Griezmann, thank you for your $5. Biscuits are free tomorrow. Thank you for the biscuit tax. I appreciate it. Thank you. Can we get some Winter's Dice in the chat for Killer Kriegman, please? Winter's Dice. No GGs. We're not doing GGs. We're doing Winter's Dice in the chat for Killer Kriegman because Winter's Dice are now available. Email me at winters40k, winters40k@gmail.com and put in the title of your email Winter's Dice and ask if there are any available because there still might be some left. I've got 100 packs. I think since the video came out, we sold about 20. in about 6 hours. So they're going hot. And once they're gone, they're gone. I don't think I'll do blue again. Winter's dice. Thank you, Michael Mankins. Winter's blueberry dice. No. Winter's dice. That's good. What about purple or green dice? Well, once the blue ones are gone, I've done the red ones. I've done the blue ones. I was thinking about going black next time. Because you can do purple. You can do green. You can do... There are some people who really want yellow. But how many Imperial Fist players are there out there, really? How many am I going to shift? Am I going to be sat on a mound of dice? I don't want to be sat on a mound of dice. Apple pie, Winter's dice. Enjoyed that advert, but I have too many dice already. Got about 600. Dats and Des, if you've got about 600 dice, then why not another 60? If you had 40 dice, then it'd be harder for me to argue to get 40 more. Now, you got 40 dice, that's all you need. You don't need 40 more. Keep your 40 dice. But if you've got 600 dice, you might as well just get 60 more of Winter's dice. It's a fair argument, I know. What about Sharokin? What about Sharokin? What about Sharokin? What about Sharokin? What do you mean? The last Teo? Teo. Hi, Teo. Didn't realise you were in the chat. How much for 40? Killer Kriegsman, they are $1 million. I think they're £25 a pack. Packs come in 20s. £25 a pack. And postage is £2, £6 or £8, depending where on Terra you are. I remember the days when it was like £20 a pack. And I remember the days when the postage was 2, 3 and 5. But in this economy, everything seemed to have just like exploded in price over the last 5 years. It was like there was a pandemic and then the global order was upset by something or other. I mean, the Emperor, we need him now, don't we? We need him to rise up, unify all of Terra, take over the galaxy and kill all the dirty Xenos. Yeah. That's what we need. But, yeah, in this economy, man, everything's just going up and up and up. Games Workshop stuff right now. Oh, my God. The prices of things. Oh, dear. Fortunately, I'm surrounded by generous, good-looking, intelligent members who know that they need to spend all the money all the time just to stay in this hobby and who know they need Winter's dice in their life because it'll elevate their game. It'll elevate your game to the next level. Have you got good head? Have you? I've got good head and I give good head on Winter's dice. Get given head. Winter's head. The best head in the world. Well, I'm already an atheist, so I wouldn't lose that least with coming from the Emperor. Random one there. Strange Come Knockings, thank you for your donation. Scenario, you're eating an expensive brownie from a snazzy country shop. Okay. I'm in a snazzy country shop. What country am I in? But it's an expensive brownie. It doesn't matter. Would you prefer it contain a few surprise mini eggs or a cheeky half cream egg? A few surprise mini eggs every day of the week, mate. Because you got the shell of the mini eggs, so you're eating an expensive brownie, which would be quite soft and crumbly. And that's one of the reasons why hazelnuts are good, or walnuts are good in brownies or in cookies, because soft, crumbly with a bit of crunch, and then you hit that nut, and it gives that texture difference. It's like, ooh, a bit of texture in your mouth, you know. So a mini egg rather than a half a cream egg in an expensive brownie, ooh. Oh, that would be nice. Yeah. And Stuart Fields, all the way from the land down under. We're going international this evening. We've got Japan in, we've got France in, and we've got Hobbit in the Hobbit house. Stuart Fields, thank you for your 18 months. Generous puppy. Morning all. It's not the morning, Stuart. It's not. I know you're talking to us from the future, but can you at least pretend that it's still yesterday for you when you jump into these chats live, please, because it screws everyone's brain. Anyway, he's a high IQ guy, a very clever guy. Let's see what he says, because this will raise up the IQ and the warm temperature of the entire chat right now. Morning all. Apart from the fact that he got that wrong, that it's not morning, that it is evening. But he's a high IQ'd guy. He's talking to us from the future. Let's see what he says. We have the butter controversy here now. £6 a block. It's a world gone mad. He's talking about the economy, ladies and gentlemen. He's talking about the economy. In this economy, it's a world gone mad. It's a world gone mad, I tell you. MCJ, welcome to the 13th tier 2. Thank you very much for your membership, guys. Thank you, MCJ. Thank you, guys. If you would like to become a channel member and help support the channel, you can just click on the thing and become a channel member. At tier 1, you get custom emojis and show your support, and you get all the things. And tier 2, you get access to the Discord. You can join the community, and you'll get a heads up of when dice come out. You can join the community events that are happening. There's one next month, which I'm going to, which I'm quite looking forward to. And tier 3, you get an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. And there is a tier 4, but we don't talk about that one because that makes my nose bleed, and those people are really rich. But yeah, thank you for coming tier 2, MCJ. You absolute legend. It's the morning, it's cold, and I need tea, says Stuart Fields. Okay, Stuart, there's a couple of things you're doing wrong. The tea thing you're doing correctly, but there's a couple of things you're doing wrong. 1, it's not the morning. 2, it's May, it's not cold. I don't know what planet you're from, but it's definitely evening and warm. It's not cold and morning. It's just, what can you do? People in Hobbiton. I guess, you know, the third age came to an end. And, yeah, things just got colder in that part of the world since the elves left. How are we doing, chat, anyway? Thank you for joining in for this Talky Tuesday live stream. Sorry I wasn't here last week. I was on holiday, where I've been reading Raymond E. Feist's. We've been doing some fantasy books because the heresy is over and I needed a good book. We've been doing that and a bit of Audible. We were drinking cocktails, lots of G&Ts. How was my holiday? I'm talking about it right now. G&Ts. The beach was lovely. The weather was lovely. We had one rainy day, but all the other times it was nice and sunny. I was drunk through most of it, but not stupid drunk, but just a little bit drunk. A bit here, a bit there, a little bit woo, a little bit wah. And yeah, it was nice. I had a great time. I like to, when I go away, I like to switch off entirely. Like I used to when I was younger, go on this trip and go to that city and then go over there and then go on that boat thing. You know, all the bits that you can do when you go to a place. And that's probably the reason for going to a place, to do all the bits. Something happened like 5 or 6 years ago where I just stopped doing that. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to have to wake up on my holiday at a fixed time to go down to reception to meet up with those guys and get on a boat to go to that island to see a thing. I don't want to do that. I want to lie in when I want to lie in and go to the restaurant when I want to have a breakfast and then sometimes sit in the sea and go, oh, this is nice. And watch the dolphins float by. Yeah, I think I'd like to say it's an age thing, but I just think I'm a lazy bastard. If you need a good book, look at Ian M. Banks. They are flipping amaze. Yes, mate, they are. Yeah, yes, I've read a few of his. It's like last year, I went through a chunk of David Gemmell stuff, fantasy. So on holiday, this is a holiday thing. And now I've started going back through Raymond E. Feist stuff. So I probably end up doing next holiday. I don't know. I might go back to Pratchett or something. Your holiday video was interesting. Would you constitute ruining heresy? What would constitute ruining heresy for you? Heresy would be ruined for me if they dumbed it down a bit. If they 8th editioned it, it would be ruined for me. If they need to tweak and improve some of the exceptions in the rules here or there, some of the weird bits on the edges here or there, that's it. If they try and redefine it, rewrite it, or dumb it down, that would just ruin it. they need to leave the full points in it, not the 40k points. Part of building a list, something beautiful, something. The hobby starts before you even start playing, when you're talking to your friends about, this is the list I'm going to make, and I've got 15 points left over here, or something. That, if they get rid of that, suck. Rights of war, don't get rid of them. Don't lock them behind things or characters. Just leave them free. Leave them. There should be some generic open right of wars that anyone can take for any reason, with destroyer companies, veteran companies, recon companies, breacher companies. They need some big open generic rights of war which allow for more ways of playing the hobby, more often, more ways of playing, not just one way of playing. Overcomplicate the reactions and put stratagems in it would ruin it. So both 40k and Heresy have got stratagems, they have got reactions, they have got a mechanic, both of the games and AOS. They've all got mechanics now which allow your opponent to do stuff in your turn. While you're doing stuff, they're responding to you with stratagems, with reactions, they're reacting to some of the stuff that you do. 40k's got 3.5 million ways to react with your opponent, and 2.5 million of them are exactly the same, but they've got different words. So Armor of Contempt has got 7 different words, names, and it's the same thing. Some of the even rules. Blood Angels, +2 strength, +1 attack on the charge. World Eaters, +2 strength, +1 attack on the charge. Different names, same rule. And then, reactions and stratagems. Half of them are the same anyway. -1 to hit. Or Heresy, part of its beauty is there's 3. Well, there's 6 because there's 3 of them, but they've got 2. You can react 3 times, forward or backwards, return fire shroud. There's core things that everyone has access to all the time, and that's simplicity. In such a complex rule set, the fact that they've got that simple thing going on, it opens up, because the rule set is so complex, it opens up so many other little bits, so many other ways that can it compounds. And then each individual legion has got their own specific reaction, advanced one they can. If that explodes, then that would be pretty ruined for me as well, I think, because I don't think you want to overcomplicate the reaction stuff in an already complicated rule set. Luton is in the chat. I've got the answer, he says. To what? What is the question? Is the question what would constitute Uranian heresy for you, Luton? Is that the question? Or are you answering another question? Please let us know. Everyone, check out Luton09 on YouTube, the best lawmaster in the universe. I've got the answer. Fix heresy forever, says Luton. Luton, make a video on how you fix heresy forever. Okay, hear me out. Keep an open mind. How about this? More rerolls. You're trolling. Luton's trolling. No. See, one of the beauties of heresy is there's hardly any rerolls. You do get preferred enemy. You do get some rerolls. One of the beautiful things about heresy is if you roll a 1, 99 times out of 100, it's bad. In 40k, if you roll a 1, there's about 7 different ways you can re-roll it. Oh, you're in range of an objective marker. I re-roll all wounds against you. Here's Oath of Moment. I re-roll all hits against you. There's so many re-rolls in this edition with the less re-rolls. It's like Games Workshop are scared of us rolling dice. We love rolling dice, and we don't mind if we roll a bunch of 1s. It doesn't happen very often, but you're playing a war game with your friend, and all you need to do is roll 3 2-ups, and you roll 3 1s. You're like, oh no, but it doesn't happen very often, and it's beautiful when it does. When you roll the 3 1s, when you roll the 3 6s, when you do. Particularly in a 6-sided dice game, where the variations are only 1 to 6. It's not like a D20, a natural D20 in D&D. It's like, oh, I rolled a natural 20, let's go. It's not like that. But it's still like that in Heresy a bit when you roll 1s or when you roll 6s. When something blows up, the tank blows up next to your Praetor, you roll a 1, you're dead. That happens often. It's crazy, it's good, and we love it. We love it. We're not scared of dice rolling. We love dice rolling. Let's have 1s, let's have 6s. And the more re-rolls you put into the game, the more you take out that, oh no, or oh yes, the more you take that out. Not a great system. What specific genre of apple pie? With Luton, we've been talking about apple pies. We all agreed unanimously that apple pie sucks and chocolate cake is better. That's all you need to know. As someone with 40k as my main game system, I'm out here longing for 40k to be more narrative, more thematic, like Heresy. Cut down the number of rerolls. And then if they took, honestly, like 9th edition, fighting first was quite common, like fight first, fight last. In 10th edition, one of the things they did quite well, is the fights first mechanic. Fights first is really rare now. Most armies have access to 1 or 2 fights first, and that's it. There might be a strat, there might be a rule, or there might be the lion. And that's it. This guy can fight. So Death Guard, for example, we've got the Foul Blight Spawn. Once per battle, you can do a fights first. You could bring 3 of them, so you could have 3 of them that once per battle do a fight first. But I think that's the only access to a fights first in the entire Death Guard Codex. Just that one thing. And by making fights first really rare, it makes it really strong. It makes it really hench. I like it a lot. And if they got rid of... So they did that. There was a big change. It was a big change to lots of... And if they got rid of a chunk of rerolls, 90% of the rerolls that they put in it, then the game would have a lot more roller coasters in it. It would fix a big... It would speed up the game as well. But it would not necessarily fix, but it would improve a big aspect of the game. That's the word I'm looking for. The fights first change improved a big access of the game. It became rare. It became, it may just... And then getting rid of 90% of the rerolls will improve that feeling of, oh, damn it, I am screwed. Or, oh, yes, I did that. It would just improve the war game. But for some reason, they think we're scared of dice rolls and we need all the rerolls to protect us. We need a CPU reroll. That would help us. What do you mean chocolate cake can be dry? A chocolate cake is never dry with cream on it unless someone's licked all the cream off of it. If you add fruit to the chocolate cake, it can make it better. Wrath of Constantine, fruit on chocolate cake. Fruit and cake and fruit and chocolate, never the twain should meet. This is one of the rules of Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is no smoking. An average chocolate cake is better than all other cakes. Thank you, Triple D. Wargaming, you can come to the front of the class. I like you. Primarchs are more fun. They definitely don't have rules that reflect their actual ability. No, I mean, Space Marines don't really have rules that affect their actual ability. Necrons, they don't. I did remember watching an interview, a thing years ago, where they decided when they were doing the lore thing, way back in the day, when the Black Library started, they literally sat down and had a good think, right, are we going to try and make sure that the books reflect the tabletop or not? And I forget which interview I saw with this. It might have been Dan Abnett. And it went around a bit. It was an ongoing discussion for a bit, whether they should make the books reflect the tabletop or not. And in the end, they decided not to, for 2 reasons. 1, the rules are going to change, he said. That was one of the deciding factors in the end. But 2, for thematic reasons, for the art of it, for the narrative of it, for the thing. So they said, no, this is where we get our inspiration from. The models, the weaponry, the stuff, not from the rules. We get it from... The models come first. We get it from that. And then... the law will not follow the thing. And great decision, because a Space Marine can run into 100 guardsmen and kill them all, which is what should happen. In 40k, a Space Marine runs into 100 guardsmen, they beat him to death. Which is why you don't want a Space Marine running into 100 guardsmen, which is why they have all the lance guns. That's why chainswords, that's why melee weapons work in 40k. If you have 100 guardsmen shooting a Space Marine, eventually someone's going to get through and kill the Space Marine. That's why melee works, because once you're in there, swinging your chainswords around, you can't shoot them anymore, and there is a bulldozer with a chainsword going through your 100 mates, and you kill them all. Luton's writing again. I'm imagining an apple pie that has like crystallized sugar edging the pastry and it's served with ice cream. I think that's pretty solid. No, you see, Luton, this is what we were discussing earlier on. The reason why apple pie is shit is because it needs ice cream. It needs a partner. It needs a Robin to its Batman. It needs the ice cream, or it needs the custard. Whereas a good chocolate cake or a good Victoria sponge, it don't need no ice cream. Get that out of here. It doesn't need a wingman. You don't need the apple pie needs to add. You need to put the thing with the thing to make the thing nicer, because the thing isn't nice on its own. You know, apple pie isn't even the best pie. Steak and Stilton, that's a good pie. Stilton is a war crime. I don't understand Stilton or Brussels sprouts. Don't understand it at all. Or synchronized swimming. What's that all about? Luton and Warhammer on Audible. The only sound you'll ever need while painting. Luton is a G. Luton is half of my painting material as well. Going back through his back catalogue, listening to all of his stuff. Emperor of Mankind series while painting. Going through all of that. That's really good. Some of my lore as well. What logic we shouldn't be with there. A friend of mine was absolutely hellish. She said she used to pick out the blue parts from Stilton cheese in human. There should be no blue parts in cheese. There should be no mold on your food. What are we putting mold on food for? And cheese as well. Cheese is one of the meaning. What's the meaning of life? Bacon. And what's the other meaning of life? Cheese. Everything's better with cheese. Why are we making cheese moldy? It's a war crime. It's why. Why would you take one of the best foods ever invented in the history of ever and make it moldy? How did they discover cheese? They probably threw a cow down a cliff and it was tumbling over and over and over and over. You know, like, because like Neanderthals and stuff, they were like ambush stuff and they'd push. There's a place, I forget where it is, and they found like thousands and thousands of bones below this cliff. And they realized that the Neanderthals or whoever, Cro-Magnon or something, were just pushing or herding animals, right? Rather than run them down and stab them, they probably used to run them down and stab them, and then Barry died and Kevin died and Timmy died and thought, this isn't a very efficient way of doing this before. Let's not get that close. Instead, let's all go ooh and ah and scare them off the edge of the cliff. Anyway, there were thousands and thousands of dead stuff side of a cliff. That's ooh, and they fell off. Doom. Anyway, one of them was probably a cow. And then it probably, you know, after they cut it open, all the cow udders and the milk all, and inside the udders were all the churned up milk, and it was probably cheese, ready to go. I reckon if you shake a cow hard enough, you're going to make cheese even before you kill it and take the cheese out of it. I think that's probably how they discovered cheese. Service Girl, thank you for gifting a membership again. You absolute legend. Absolute legend. I'm actually confused. Still, how we learned that cow milk was fine. Look, I think the way more graphic than I imagined the discovery of cheese. Yeah, look, I think probably, look, babies they're putting things in their mouth all the time, right? Humans, you know, how did we discover milk? We put it in our... Humans were putting stuff in their mouths, even things that they shouldn't put in their mouths, since mouths were invented. And some of them we could eat. And that's how stuff got invented. Yeah. People got hungry. Yeah. Yeah. There's a nice line in Shogun. Tazunara isn't in the chat this evening, isn't he? All the way from Japan. There's a really good in Shogun. He's like, oh yeah, in England the weather's terrible and it's grey and there's a famine every 5 years. A few hundred years ago there was a famine every 5 years and everyone died. It's amazing that we're still here, really. Yeah. When you have to put warning labels on the side of bleach bottles, that's when you realise that humanity's got a problem. Yeah. Still doesn't explain why people put apples in pie. I know, right? Heresy. Those people should have been stopped. Their fingers should have been chopped off and we should have put their fingers in the pie instead. Take the bone out. Boneless fingers in a pie. That'd be tasty with a bit of garlic. A bit of ketchup. I'd eat that. I mean, humans supposed to taste like chicken, right? Everything tastes like chicken. Finger pie. It sounds very Slaneshi. Still doesn't... Yes, we did that. Right. Yes. Where are we? We're nearly 2 hours in. Wow. Okay, guys, this is your 2-minute warning. Thank you for joining me on this week's Talkie Tuesday live stream. But I've been banging on for a very long time. We actually talked about Warhams earlier on. We actually talked about the leaks and things. And so that's quite good. I guess we're excited about the Sat 9 thing. I guess we're all excited about Winter's Dice, now available. So these things are very exciting. Thank you for joining me. I will be back next Tuesday unless I die or get abducted by aliens or the zombie apocalypse starts or something like that. So we do this every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Except when we don't. Consistency is key on YouTube. You should be consistent, except when you're not. Thank you for the Class A content. No, thank you. Yes. This week, we got that 4,000 point battle report coming up tomorrow. So the End of All Things and the Echoes of Ecstasy, my Death Guard and my Emperor's Children fight together against an overwhelming Imperial force with Sultan. Sunday, it's a 2,000 point battle report. I got Alex round. He's got World Eaters because I've been wanting to do it for a while. World Eaters versus Death Guard. World Eaters, Death Guard. World Eaters, the two hot new. That's coming out on Sunday, 2,000 point game. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I'm going to school. Tomorrow, there's a wargaming club at one of the old schools that I went to like 40 years ago. And I've been invited back to talk to some of the children at the school. And I am if you're one of the children, hi, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm terrified. What am I going to say to a room full of kids? But yeah, I've been invited back. So that's a thing. Yeah. What was I going to say? And oh yes, if you're in the VOD squad, thank you for joining me in the live stream. But if you're watching this as a VOD, if you're part of the VOD squad, or you're watching this afterwards, shout out the VOD squad as well. Shout out all the subscribers, shout out all the members that help make the magic happen. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here doing this. You guys are legend. Magnus did lots of things wrong, AB. And I will not tell them that Magnus did nothing wrong. I will list the many things that Magnus did wrong. Tell them they don't need the exams. Just make a YouTube channel. Yeah, I'll do that actually. Hi, everyone in school is lying to you. You don't need to do well in school. All you need to do is start a YouTube channel. Anyone can do it. It's dead easy. Thousands of views guaranteed. Call them all Timmy. Be sure to say words like skibbity and show riz. Dude, I've got my lexicon. I'm down with the kids, man. I get their things and the emails and the stuff. The youths, they're like me. Generation Z and me, we are tight. We are tight. I've got all the local lingo down. I can skibbity rizzy with the kids. Faux shower. You know, like I said that last time, like you can't say bro anymore. Bro, what's up, bro? It's twin now. Luton, did you know this? Luton? No one's a bro anymore. Bro is so millennial. Bro is so 2020. Everyone's got a brother. but only special, tight people. Twin. So Luton, you're my twin, yo. And all you guys in chats, you're not my bros. You're my twins. Does that make sense? Triplets. It doesn't even make sense. But we're all twins. You're all twins. See? The kids. I'm down with the kid thing. We're tight. My daughter is like 3 years old. I have no point of reference for youth language. Well, you will have. When she gets older and she starts the thing, she's talking to you, and it's like a different planet, honestly. They grew up with like the internet around them, and they act like it's normal. Like it's normal to have the entire world on your phone and all knowledge, human knowledge that ever existed on the phone for free in most cases, and you can get it. They have that, and we used to go and find a book in a library. They have it all on their phone, and they spend all the time on Instagram and watching penguins fall off cliffs. You know what I mean? It's just... Or watching, yeah, it's a different world. But one day, the God Emperor will rise up and unite us all on a great crusade to unify the galaxy and destroy all the filthy Xenos. And I look forward to that day, because Xenos must die. All those aliens, the galaxy is ours. It's ours, but ours by right, ours by birthright, and one day we will take it all from them. As we should, because it's ours. Yeah, I'm saying it. It might sound like, that might sound violent, but that's the way I feel. I'm all about the violence this evening. What are we talking about, chat? I need to translate, or I just look at myself in the painting room. Yes. Well, then I need to remind aliens they're not. Yes. All the things. Right. Yes. So thank you for joining me on this Talking Tuesday live stream. Don't forget to check out Luton on this channel, and I think he's a nice guy. And I'll see you in the next one. Happy wargaming. Winter's Dice.